Obviously. So yeah, we're live on YouTube. So I just want to welcome everybody. Thank you for joining. We've got a very early. Thank you, Raymond. Sorry, yes, being rude there. Do you want to say hi?
Hi everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, and I'm going to continually thank Raymond because it's been such a great journey, and I've learned so much. It's really good. We had a very early question there. Thank you for sharing your journey and transparency. How did the transition from level 2 into level 3 go? I think that's what I'm asking. I have the calendars, but still trying to figure out that transition. Well, I mean, it's seamless, isn't it? Really, you just go from one day to the next, and whatever's planned. This is right, Raymond, isn't it? You just go from that one level to the
Yeah,
next one.
it is a transition. What she's noticed, it is quite a little bit of a transition because all of a sudden you don't have two MADs anymore. You're on OMADs now. So just like what you were saying, hey, if you could tell me to go OMAD from here on for the rest of my life, I'd be happy to do it. You know, that kind of thing. Well, now you are on OMADs, so that's probably the biggest transition, and I think that's maybe what she's relating to. And how is that for you, Stephen? How are the OMADs?
Well, as we've talked about before, the OMADs is where I want to go. I still have a week of rolling 48s, actually, Raymond.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah.
You're still on the 48s. Yes, of course.
But where my head is into the week after when we're doing OMADs. And I think that's proof of concept for me, because before I started Chisel, I would have found the thought of OMADs quite difficult. And I never did OMADs, really. I was doing 2 meals a day and thinking, this is hunky-dory. I didn't have the food freedom. Certainly didn't have that. So, you know, the whole journey has just changed my body composition, strangely enough. And we'll talk about that in a minute. And some internal healing. And I got my glucose and ketone monitor out, which we're going to start with, which is on the screen. And I'm going to talk about that now because we just did a meeting, and it's very frustrating that people are worried about ketosis and ketones as much as they are. I'm not saying to belittle the readings, but it is more important about things like your body composition, how your clothes fit, what you look like in the mirror, your sleep, all those sort of things. But as you can see, 42 hours in to a fast at the beginning, this was Tuesday, the dawn phenomena at work. So my glucose was quite high at 5.3, and my ketones were 0.6. Now, my highest level of ketones I'd ever had, just spoke to Raymond before, so it went live on YouTube, was after I did the 72-hour fast. But counterintuitively, it wasn't at the end of the 72-hour fast, because I did a measurement then, but I also did a measurement after I'd eaten 9 hours later. And that was the highest level of ketones I'd ever had. So 9 hours after eating, on the back of a 72-hour fast, which again is counterintuitive to people that are really into, you know, glucose and ketones. But as we say in meetings, I just trust my body to work it out, what I need. The dawn phenomena is based on the fact that I'm not eating during the night, so my liver is keeping me alive, and my liver is producing glucose to a certain level. And then about 4 o'clock in the morning, my adrenals start to produce cortisol, which is a stimulant, and that pushes my blood glucose up. And that is what is happening there. And it wanted me to be at 5.3. Nothing to do with dietary intake of carbohydrates. All of that glucose is made from non-carbohydrate substrates because I've not eaten for 42 hours. So it's got to be from my amino acid pools, and it's got to be from my fatty acids or lactate or anything that the body decides to make glucose out of. And my guess is that it comes from triglycerides that are stored in the fat. They're coming out, they're lysed, you know, they're basically broken up into free fatty acids and glycerol backbones, and off they go and make glucose. So that's very quick there. But 42 hours into the 48-hour fast, because I was trying to do the rolling 48s, and you could see my weight plummet, which is very good. I weighed myself every sort of hour, and the little circles are that, and just showing that the weight was going off. And my muscle mass, by the way, is measured at the same time. That wasn't going down. It wasn't water either. So it's definitely losing some fat. So I just wanted to say, so I made these notes for me. a thought for the live stream. I lost more body fat in the first 2 months when I was eating more than now when I'm fasting. And that's important, I think, for people, because very many people get hooked on the fasting, and yes, for autophagy, if it's loose skin, all the benefits of fasting, the therapeutic area of fasting. And yes, I think it does help with fat loss, definitely. But in my first month, when I was eating more than I've ever eaten in my life, I lost 8 pounds over that month. And in the second month, I was still eating ever such a lot, and I lost 10.4 pounds. Here I am in the middle of July, and as you can see from just slightly underneath, it's only like 3 pounds, a little bit more than 3 pounds has been lost. And you would think with the 48-hour fast and the longer fast that I'm doing, you would have the biggest weight loss, and that's certainly not happened. And I haven't lost any muscle mass, by the way. So if we'd have started Chisel with fasting, what would have happened? And this is, I just want to back up why Raymond's doing the priming first, because you could start with fasting. Well, what would happen? Well, firstly, I don't think I would have found this sustainable. I think you need the priming to get you into exactly that, to make sure you saturate your hormones and your enzymes and get everything, all your sling right. I'd definitely be under eating at this stage, because I started with fasting rather than priming, and I don't think I would have experienced food freedom. So I think the priming is key. So that was it. Just for the people that want to know, I've actually lost 21.4 pounds of body fat since I started, which was at the beginning of May. So May, June, and July. 21 pounds so far. A couple of other things. We talk about arterial health. So I've got this machine which is an electrical impedance. Doesn't mean it's the best thing in the world, but it is a good sort of benchmark, and it just sends a signal up through your body, and it can work out how elastic your arteries are. You want your arterial walls to be nice and elastic, and it brings your blood pressure down, means it's not clogged, and it's the best reading I've ever had. So here's throughout the month for the pulse wave velocity, and look, here it is at the fasting period. Like I say, 6.7 reading, and it needs to be below 7 to be optimal. So that really is good for your metabolic age. Muscle mass still creeping up, body fat still dropping, which was interesting. And going into the fast a bit longer, my ketones dropped and my glucose went up. I was studying at that moment, and we know that the brain demands a lot of glucose, a lot of energy. It was also the hottest day in the UK of that year. So my body was working hard to study, and it was also working hard to maintain my temperature. Then on Thursday, what I told Reagan is, what I've learned today is working out and rolling 48 has been tough for me. The last 2 days, I've reinstated my X3 bar workouts, and it's been very difficult to fast 48 hours. Of course, that makes sense. I'm putting a heavy load on my body. I've been training for a long time in my life. I've been a personal trainer, and before that, a semi-professional soccer player, and I've always been into fitness. I was a ski rep, teaching people to ski. So I've always been very active. But the X3 bar is particularly fatiguing, and that's why I do it. It's very short, hard, and intensive workout, and I found that it was the biggest struggle. And then the timing on Friday, going to miss one of the 48s and start Monday, because this weekend was my 8th wedding anniversary. So I said to Raymond, I'm not setting the best example, or maybe I am. And maybe I am was because I'm thinking, well, this is real life. I've got to do things, you can't have an 8th wedding anniversary and be fasting, going out and having a glass of water. So Raymond said, perfect, that's what we want to see. Talk about the training also. So we're going to get to that in a second. And I wanted to just reveal these last couple of bits. So my body fat percentage is the lowest it's been in years. So the body fat is shown here. It's always been pretty good, but it's now sort of getting to 12.5%. Quite happy with that. And visceral fat has been up and down, but actually it's now the lowest. It's lower than it was 2019. So I'm much older now, 3 years older. Here's my visceral fat. at 6.5. And for frame of reference, actually that reading could go up to 50. So it's a really good graph to see actually just how low it is. So it's pretty low anyway, but it's even lower than it has been. So that's good. Body composition, just for people to see. Quite happy with my body composition. I haven't got a full length mirror. It's a bit difficult. Hopefully people can see. So I've got the abs, got a bit of definition in the chest, which is good. And a pork belly with crackling at 1 p.m. today. So the 1 meal a day was just a pork belly. And I think that's it. So yeah, Raymond, you wanted to talk about training and things like that.
Fantastic. The way your abs are just popping out. I mean, it's amazing. Your body composition from last week was so much different than this week. It's like so much more enhanced. It's amazing, actually. I'm rather surprised. But no, what I was going to say about training, I was just kind of wondering. So you're back at the X3 regularly?
Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't do it today. Again, because just being busy and heat and studying. So I'm going to try it and do the rolling 48s next week and also train, because I want to give it a real go, whether you can do both. And I'm going to be really, really realistic with it, because the whole point of this was not to fake it. It was to be genuine. It was to be genuine about it. And that's, I mean, I could have lied. I could have said, yeah, it's been a breeze, because I've got lots of things to back up that I'm doing really well, like the visceral fat, the body fat percentage, the video of what I'm looking like. I could have said to you, yeah, it's easy, but that was, I don't want to do that. I want to say I found it really tough and couldn't do it. So this week is my challenge, is to do the rolling 48 and train.
Awesome.
And if I can't do it, I will tell you I'm really struggling.
Well, that's an extra challenge, obviously. So on top of what you're doing, but just to say, you haven't really focused on the X3 for a little while either. So that's obviously going to be a little bit of ramp up. So hopefully you can eat enough during that 48. Your body may be wanting it. Of course, no white knuckling. That's part of the rules.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that the food freedom and the priming has helped me to do, is to not be scared of a really big plate full of food, and then to even follow it with a big plate full of food if I don't feel satisfied. And this is what we're always trying to say to people, is to trust the process, because you feel, what's the ultimate aim of chisel? Is to chisel out, get your body composition to be, get your abs popped and all that, and all the definition. And here you are eating a ton of food and thinking, well, I'm not full, I'm going to eat even more. And it seems counterintuitive to many people, but it works. It definitely works. I mean, you can see in the videos, I can see from the sort of stats, like I say, the visceral fat, the body fat percentage, and I'm eating more than I've ever eaten. I mean, really tons and tons of food. And I think with the X3, it is particularly fatiguing. It is particularly short, hard, and intensive. So I'm going to be training for 13 minutes, but it's absolutely flat out, absolutely to physiological sort of limit. And I need protein synthesis, so I've got to eat. So I have no idea what's going to happen at the end of the week. My guess, and I'm quite prepared to guess and be completely wrong, is my weight might go up, but I think my body fat percentage will go down. I do think I might be able to add a bit of muscle in just a week, but I have no idea if that's going to happen or not. I've got no idea.
I'd love to see that. Another thing I want to remind you, and I know I've said it before, but you have a 2-hour eating window, and that 2-hour eating window is kind of lax. So you need 2.5 hours, 3 hours. It depends, because there's some days, especially if you're going to work out that heavy, your body's going to require a lot more food, and putting it in one sitting is not good. You won't be able to. So if you split it up into 2, 3, or 4 in the 2 hours time, which you can, you know what I mean? Eat every 30 minutes if you had to, but you can actually putting enough food for that single OMAD, and then you'll be able to breeze on through it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good tip, and I think that's one of the things that I've not pushed enough. When people go OMAD, for instance, It doesn't mean, right, that's it, one sitting at the table and you put your meal out and that's it. That's your one meal. You can go back and revisit, within 30 minutes, 40 minutes or whatever. I think that's quite helpful, because that's one of the things I have noticed, actually. And again, this is live, so it's, I'm not really realized this, is I've never done that before. I've never had a meal finished and then thought 20 minutes later, 30 minutes later, I could eat a bit more. Never had that. And I've had that ever so frequently. So it does show that there is, there is a factor into your stomach clearing and your body signaling and saying, yeah, that's still not enough. Still, you need to eat more. And I think that's a different sort of freedom, actually, which I haven't thought about, which is to trust completely and utterly what your signals are saying to you, and not using your eyes and common sense and conscious thinking and saying, yeah, but hang on a minute, I've had 4 fillet steaks and cheese. I can't be hungry. That's just me being a pig, but it isn't. It absolutely isn't. And the last time that happened, and I wish, in a way, I put timings into the signal when I do message about food. I think it was like some chicken, and I remember saying to Jane, I can't eat this. There's too much. And 20 minutes later, I'd left it on the table. I went back and I just started eating it again. And the next day I said to her, that was really good. I'm really glad I did that, because I think if I hadn't, I would be hungry now. So that little gap, and just listening and not being scared, not thinking, oh no, I'm being a glutton now, has been really, that's a freedom as well. Freedom to eat enough.
Absolutely. I'd like to add on. So one of the things about priming, remember how you had to eat as it was your job? So this is where, when you're rolling 48, that comes in handy, because you may not be hungry 20 minutes later, but you get yourself to eat anyways. And that's fascinating, just like when you were priming early on, because that's why we train for. We take advantage of a smaller window of time, and we literally try to put in as much as we can during that time. But we space it out enough where your body has time to kind of, hey, know what to do with this point. 20 minutes later, eat something more, and then 20 minutes, do that again. And then you'll notice you can fully nourish yourself way easily for the next 48. So that's just a tip. Hopefully that helps. But that's why, it circles all back to the beginning. This is why we train so hard at the beginning on the priming, because we learn so much. And right here, you're using it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and that's why I go on about it, because priming's been key. Absolutely. Every week I've said something, and I think every week I've said, without the priming, that wouldn't have happened. And I also understand seems to be now 2 schools of thought when we're talking in meetings, because some people want to get off priming within about 8 days. They're sick of food, and some people love it so much they ask, can I do another week? So there's no right or wrong. There is no right or wrong. I think you really got to listen to your body. I mean, I can't, from my memory, I can't even imagine wanting to do another week. But if you've been, had an eating disorder, been calorie restricted, or you've done crazy sort of cabbage soup diets or something, being given carte blanche to eat lots of good carnivore food probably is like manna from heaven. It really is a fantastic thing to say to them. Wow, eat as much as you like, have snacks in the first week, just knock yourself out, fill your boots up and do it. And it's so different to calorie restriction, or just eating less and moving more as a terrible piece of advice. I think it's just so good. I mean, just going back to the training, which me saying about eat less, move more. I mean, I didn't train for, I think it was 17 days, and my body composition still changed. It still kept my muscle, still lost body fat, as we saw from the results earlier, and from the video, I think, self-evident that I did well out of it. I missed it. I mean, I took in the meeting's a lot about how mentally you feel. I miss the mental enjoyment of it. I mean, I like training, so I miss that. But I did want to prove that you do not have to exercise, and that nutrition is key, absolutely key. Because an experiment I would never do, by the way, is to train in an insane way, like the Insanity or something, and eat really badly. That's not going to work. But if you eat really well and not train, you can do really well. I mean, that's the big difference for me. It's not an essential part. You do not have to exercise. Exercise is good. I'm not anti-exercise. But if you want a body composition to change, you want to do recomposition, lose some body fat, even gaining muscle, you don't have to train when you first start. You will gain a bit of muscle when there's more protein going into your body. Of course, if you want to really add muscle, then strength training is the way to go. So, and I'm not anti for people that want to be runners. They want to do endurance running and all that sort of stuff. All those medals are for running. I'm not anti-running, but I think, people do better on carnivore when they're strength training rather than running, because they just look better. There's more bone density, there's more muscle mass going on, and they just tend to look a little bit healthier. But you can still do this if you're running. It's not a big issue. Just make sure that you feed yourself correctly, and you should be fine.
Perfect. So, Stephen, little update on how's your sleep been? You've been consistently doing OMAD. Has that changed at all?
No, and I've let you down, because I remember when we started, you wanted bowel movements and sleep and mood and all that sort of stuff.
Hopefully, you tracked all that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the reason I stopped giving you updates is because it's just settled to a nice routine. When I go to visit the toilet, it's once a day, and I think when I'm eating and when I'm fasting, it could be maybe once every 36 hours. That's going to the toilet and doing the paperwork afterwards. Urination doesn't change much. Sleep has been really good. The only time we've had trouble sleeping is there was a couple of nights when it was just unbearably hot. You had to we had to have windows open, and we're on a main road, so there's lots of traffic going past. So I don't think many people would have had a good night's sleep in that situation. So yes, it's really good. I feel very rested. I feel very energized. Absolutely. I have got my last assignment in my Open University degree, or the honours part of the degree, and I'm looking forward to getting that out of the way. I've got the best. This is very interesting, actually. Got the best marks I've ever had on the last assignment. So that was interesting as well, and totally unexpected. But maybe the mental clarity has really kicked in. I mean, we're talking like 10% higher than any marks I've had before. So that's a real, suddenly something I hadn't really thought about. So that's pretty interesting. So I don't know how this is going to go. So my end of module assessment is this month, so at the end of August. So I'm right in the thick of the chisel and having to do that. So yeah, not stress, and because you talk about mood's good, very happy. I'm happy doing it. I don't dread anything. There's no anxiety. The meetings are a little bit stressful, obviously, because we always have like 100 people in there, and you don't know what the questions are going to be. So you're on your guard, because there might be something you would struggle to answer. I don't think that's ever happened to me. I don't think I've struggled to answer any questions. So yeah, sleep's good, mood's good, anxiety levels pretty low. Enjoying the food, enjoying the challenge. Not looking for, I don't look forward with worries. I don't think, what's going to happen in 2 weeks or 3 weeks? How is this going to happen? When the body fat or the body weight started to slow down, like in July, some people we coach might be saying, whoa, I've got a weight loss stall. It's slowing down. This is a big issue. I didn't think any of that. Actually, I stick to what we say. What does it look like in the mirror? Because if I wouldn't really care if I suddenly gained a couple of pounds. If I look better, I don't care. It really is about that and how you look and feel, mood, sleep, everything. So all over, it has really been helpful. Really, really, it's ticked every single box for me. Absolutely every single box. It's been brilliant, Raymond. Actually, we'll be glad when it's finished, because I want to go back to being a bit more intuitive. But it's like a toolbox, isn't it? I've done all the different modalities, and I can now pick. Yeah, I know I can do a 72-hour fast. I know I can do 48 hours, and I know I can do a rolling 48. I know I can do OMAD. I don't know if I'll do 2MAD. Maybe I will. I don't know. But all of those things are just, things I could just take off the hook and go, right, I'm going to do that with no problem. I suppose, realistically, the biggest surprise for me was a 72-hour fast. That was so easy. So easy. I can't believe it. And I've got the fasting coaching qualification, and I fast, but I don't fast that much. I mean, to do that, I did. I mean, to get the qualification, I felt that I needed to do it. And going back to when I was at MeterX and doing that qualification, I think the 72-hour, the last day was relatively easy, but I think the first couple of days were quite hard, because I was thinking, wow, can I last 72? Now I know from this made it really easy. This made it really, really easy. So that's possibly the biggest thing I've got out of it, that I can pick and choose what I do when I'm not doing chisel.
Yeah, really, in the end, the priming, how really important that is, really is the thing that got you there. And also, you also know the point where you may need to do like little micro primes and catch up again too. So, there's so much you learn, and you really learn how much you actually need to eat. I doubt you'll ever go back to eating how you were, right? I know you're an experienced carnivore, but that says a lot, right?
Yeah, no, the thing is, I went in with my eyes open that I could look stupid if it all went wrong, which it didn't. And I think you're right. I mean, it's taught me to eat. It's taught me to eat enough, definitely. And yeah, I forgot the mini primes. I think that's a really good thing to remind people about, because the mini prime, I can remember thinking, I don't really need this. I think I can do this without the mini prime. But then when I did the mini prime, the next day I woke up and I thought, yeah, I'm really glad I did that. That has definitely helped. Definitely helped. I think I even messaged you to say, can I not do it? Anyway, I did it. I think I then backtracked and thought, right, I've got to do it because I want this experience. So that's why I've tried to stick. I think I've come off track twice, and I've hated it both times. But it's been very easy. And that's another thing, actually, to testament to the plan you've designed. It's very easy to get back on track. Very, very easy. And I'm just thinking, right, Monday, it's great, rolling 48s. I'm going to just do it. I'm just going to, I just don't think it's going to be difficult. And I think I'm going to be able to train. It gives you confidence. That's the thing, confidence in how much to eat. Just everything. I can't get over it, actually. The more I think about it, it's blown me away. You can probably tell.
I feel so fortunate. Now you are the second person that I've coached live that actually got a six-pack out of this. Wow, that's really awesome. Live, actually coaching it live, it could have went like, heck, you could have just blown it up and, but so far, so good, right? This is awesome.
Yeah, it's 100% hit rate, isn't it? 100%.
100% so far. Yeah. Live.
I mean, I'm going to be honest now, because there's a few people messaged me and said, yeah, it's all well and good for men to do it, but could he do it for females? And I'm like, yes, he has. He has. So if you can get anyone that's
live, I'd love to do it live.
No, if you get somebody that's brave enough to do it live, I think that would be fantastic. And if anyone out there wants to try it, I mean, I can just tell you that the live element actually, I think, adds an extra layer of motivation personally, because you're going live to, I mean, I'm not a big fish in the YouTube, but you know, maybe 400 or 500 people. I mean, we've had a couple of these, you know, eventually with 1,000 views. So you've got a fair few people that can be
I don't
picking
know.
up.
Your background and your stats is really what made it for me. It's not really your views and viewer count. And not only that, how long you've been carnivore too. All of that counts, you know. So
Yeah, I mean, I think I put pressure on myself initially, but you know, I do trust the process. I do. I knew that only good things could come from this. I am surprised at how simple it is. I'm never going to say easy because nothing's easy. You know, you've got to apply yourself, and you've got to take it seriously. And I think that's one of the things that maybe influencers don't pick up on. And like, you know, they say, "Oh, do this, do this, do this," and you think, "Yeah, okay, well, it sounds pretty easy." You're making it sound easy, but when you live a normal life, an average life, you know, and you've got family and you've got commitments, you've got work, you know, if you're doing studies or you've got some other projects going on, it's not easy. It's not easy, you know, but it's simple. And if you follow it, it just works. And then it becomes easy. That's
actually,
it.
what makes it simple is because I'm coaching you. So you're not looking at any schedule. I'm just telling you what to do, right? You're just
Yeah.
following orders.
Yeah.
That makes it simple. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing, actually, which is really nice, Raymond, which is why you're a brilliant coach. When this finishes, it will be easy. It will be easy because it's I've learned it all. I haven't, and I haven't tried to buck it either. That's the thing. I know we laugh about the sort of first couple of weeks of priming and me begging to forget eating, right? So that may be me trying to buck the system, but in the end, I've believed in it and I've stuck with it. And you know, if you look at Bart, who also got the 6-pack, I mean, I think that's pushed him. I mean, he, you know, did this extreme challenge a couple of weeks ago. I'll take my hat off to him.
I don't advise that, but anyway.
No, it's very extreme. He didn't even advise it, you know. But it's brilliant because it pushes you to want to do things to push your body and you know, biohack and really have a good play around with what you're doing. And I know that I will go off, you know, at the end of August, miss the live streams, miss the coaching because I do enjoy it, but I would also be thinking, right, I can do anything now. I can run this how I want, and I can look at my body composition and just think, yeah, I need a 72-hour fast. I need to get a bit sharper, or wow, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a 72-hour fast, but I'm going to prime first to make sure that it works. And I can pick and choose the things I've learned, and it will be easy. It will be easy. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, I'm not looking forward to. Not as in I'm not looking forward to it in a negative way. I don't look through the calendar.
Yeah.
I just think, right, yeah, I'm looking at tomorrow now. Yeah, I've got a 48, so I'm not eating tomorrow. And then the day after, I'm not eating in the morning. But that's simple. That's really simple. That's how you do it.
Bella used it for her creative moments. So she's like, I know when I'm going to be busy, and that's when I'm going to do the fasting. Because I feel the best and I'm sharpest during that time. And so all of last year, she was just on. And of course, she overdid it a little bit, but that's okay. That's what happens. You know, sometimes we'll overdo it and not listen to ourselves because we love being on that high. And especially when we're being very productive, we want to ignore that side. So it is a balance. So I do want to let you know of that, you know, in the future when you decide to go on your own. Sometimes we get carried away and get greedy, you know, so, but that's part of it.
But that again is fantastic because often in the program, I thought, I really wish doing that fast was on a Friday because Friday's my busiest day. Piece of steak. If I was doing a fast on Friday, I'd be so busy it wouldn't matter. But it hasn't gone that way. So so I'm going to be the same as Bella. There's going to be times when I can pick and choose, and to be honest, that's already what I've decided. I mean, Friday pretty much going to be a fasting day, pretty much every Friday, because I just haven't got time to eat. So why not throw one in? Why not do that? I just feel. I mean, even now, I'm just so motivated, and so. I just can't wait to get. See, it sounds negative. I can't wait to get to the end so I can then apply it myself. I can't wait to do that. But I'm also loving, you know, the guidance. And I learn every single week. And I think that's one of the things. I mean, I think you're the same, and I think all the coaches at the Steak and Butter Gang are the same. We're all prepared to learn.
Yes.
We don't think we know it all, and there's always something that comes up, and you think, yeah, wow, that's interesting. I mean, we just had that meeting with Karen Miles coming up with an idea of how to get leg cramps lessened, and it was just, wow, that's really good. Yes, I've not heard of that. I'll check that cure out for people that are having leg cramps. So yeah, it's good. So we're going to wrap up now because we said we'd do a half hour.
Yes, we went a little over, but that's okay. Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about next week at all?
Yeah. So next week, we actually, that should be your finish week. So you should be doing the 5 rolls of 48, but we should be done by August 1st. Is that right? 3.
No, I've got it a bit longer than that, to be honest.
Yeah, well, it depends. If you wanted to do the 3 rolls, so I think you wanted to do the old way where we're actually done by August, early August, right?
Right. Yeah, I tell you when I've got it down. Just finishing
because you're gonna start tomorrow, right?
Right. Yeah, the 19th of August is when level 3 is complete according to my calendar. But the last week is just a bunch of OMADs.
Yeah, that's OMAD. So you're actually kind of done on the 14th. Yes.
Yes.
Would you like to keep that schedule better?
Yeah, I'd like to. I think we should see it out to the end of level 3, so people that are following it have got the whole set. If you want to do that, that's fine.
Oh, I don't mind. I just didn't want you to, because you sounded like you were in a hurry to, get it done and over with. So we could actually just go 5 rolls now.
Yeah, I think, yeah, that's how I feel. But I wanted you to know that's how I feel, because that's how I feel really excited about doing it myself. But I also think for the people that are watching, we should do the whole thing, because that's what we said we'd do. Get to the end of level 3, even if it's just a shorter sort of update and saying, this is my body composition, the visceral fat, this is my body fat percentage, this is what I've eaten, this is what I've learned, and what we're doing, but maybe in 30 minutes or less, maybe. Because I'm saying very much the same things every week now about how it's working, but I suppose the overarching thing is definitely about priming. It's definitely how key that is, and I think we have to do that, because if people come in and let's say they're 300 pounds, and they've struggled with their weight all their life, possibly the last thing they ever want to hear is eat lots. It goes so against the grain, and I totally understand that. But it works. It just it does exactly what it says on the tin. It says it primes you. It gets all your hunger hormones right. It gets all your signaling right. It teaches you how much you can eat. And you do get to the point in your mind where you don't want to eat.
And you can do these crazy rolling 48s.
Yeah, exactly.
Who would have thought you could have done that, right? So easily.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think I don't want to sort of repeat too much. So we call it a day there, I think.
Yes, let's. Thank you, Stephen. We'll see you next week then. Okay.
Yeah. Cheers, Raymond. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.